What's up? Happy Saturday. We're here. Been up. Actually, fell asleep through. I woke up only to fall asleep through some of the. Oh, rotate is locked. Why is rotate locked? I guess they want it to just be in this format. Is that what YouTube wants? Oh, what YouTube wants, YouTube gets. You know what I mean, people? You know what I mean? Welcome, bout betters. How's everyone's gambling been? Hopefully, people have been making some moolah, some money today. Yeah, we'll watch the last fight here. Sort of do a little fight companion. Wish I could hook up. Let me make sure that the mic's going here. What's up, people? What's up? Welcome, bout betters. Nobody's in the stream. That's okay. I'm used to nobody in the stream. Let's see here. Wait.
The most dynamic kickboxers that we've seen in the UFC. That's
almost at them. It didn't block me out. Let me make sure. Let me do this. We're going to see Sharperoff and Michael Venom Page next, right?
We're going to see Sharperoff.
Yeah. It sounded. I hate the sound. It sounded like I'm in an auditorium or something.
Sharperoff. It sounded. I hate the sound. It sounded like I'm in an auditorium. We're going to see Sharperoff. It sounded like it's
here on the phone, but it is what it is, people. And my phone doesn't actually support, because it's an older phone. It doesn't support the DJI-2, the wireless microphones. Right. If I had an iPhone or a different phone, I think it would support it. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, EDC microphones. No, don't need these for an EDC unless you're filming some kind of. We want our people back, or look at that. Yeah, transmission little slip. Get to make some EDC. Here's some EDC stuff. Making your own sort of gun cleaning solution. That's what I'm going to be doing in terms of EDC today, is just making a little gun cleaning oil, right? I was on a stream yesterday of somebody discussing EDC, and there was no discussion of EDC. They were just discussing all these knives, and they would never mention why they would actually use, what's up, Hirschberger? I'm good. But nobody would actually discuss what they're going to use a knife for. You're carrying a knife around. Right, and I understand for self-defense, most people might use a knife, but that's a bad weapon to use for self-defense. It might work good in jail, right? Like a knife or a shiv is great in jail, but in general public, a knife is not a great idea. Maybe on a train, like you can't carry a gun on a train supposedly, but if you have a decent legal knife, which is very difficult here in Chicago, right, of what you could carry. Wow, I have 20 people here. You have a leather jacket. Yeah, I have a leather jacket too. I have a leather jacket. Leather jackets are great. They're great to defend against some knives, but they're still pretty thin. Nowadays, the knives are just so really good. Hey, this is the most people I've ever had on a live here. I got 26, but I'm doing good. Just chilling out, catching the last of these UFC bouts here. Vincent, we're up with the W. Yeah, we're all with the W. That west side or winning side. We're all with the W. We're all with the winning side here, guys. We're all with the winning team. You got your head. Yeah, you chill, bro. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mom and daughter baking show. Yeah. I wanted to do some baking. I've been eating really bad cookies from the convenience store. Decent ones at Aldi. Aldi's got some decent cookies. But I got some from someone says, I love you. You're my idol. I wish. Oh, Michael Venom Page coming out. Page is always entertainment, man. The dude is always like playing to the crowd, playing to himself. I think he just feels himself. He's just one of those people, like, you think that he's like showing off. It's like, no, I could see him in his head if he were coming even to a street fight, he's going to be dancing. He's like, oh, you're going to want some of this? And he's going to do a little dance before he comes and kicks your ass. I can sub. I appreciate any sub. Yes, go Bears. Yep. Shout out, please, to Mom and Daughter Baking Show. Yeah, we give you a shout out. We'll give you a shout out. No problem giving shout outs. I hope your baking show is doing really well. It's a great concept. A lot of people are in that, but just like myself with this MMA and the cigar sphere, you just keep going. I do it for fun. And I think as long as you do YouTube for fun and you're not really, some people don't try and they do really well. They get thousands of people, but you know, as long as you're enjoying yourself, it's a good activity, I think, for you and your child and your daughter. Hasn't started. Yeah, well, that's a good idea. I think it's a great activity with your kid. I wish I'd kept up my toy thing with my nephew. We used to play. Damn, Michael Venom Page just keeps on going with his performance, man. He don't stop. He's taking like 5 minutes to go out to get to the ring, and they have their time. But he dances. He just plays to the camera. I mean, genuine showman, and by genuine, I mean like he's comfortable as a fighter doing this. Like Adesanya, when he did his dancing thing and he's doing the break dancing, it looked too contrived. It didn't look natural. All kind of losing people. That's all right. It's all right. What's up, Vincent Baruch? But Michael Venom Page, very natural, coming through. Just it just seems like he's meant for the stage. He's going to be good on camera too, Michael Venom Page. Hopefully, he starts to work on his commentary because he'd actually be really good at the desk. Some of his comedy and his dancing would go, oh, I'm losing people by the second. Oh, my goodness. I've had a bunch of people at one point, and now there are only 5. That's all right. I appreciate anybody that comes in that, you know, I guess they come in, they flash, and we're talking about Michael Venom Page. Maybe we're not talking about, which is the UFC. Maybe we're not talking about something they're interested in, or they just see me and they're like, fuck that old dude. Let me get out of this stream. I don't need to be listening to this old person here. So. But do like as you come on in. Are you guys watching the UFC? What is everyone else doing? I'm having a coffee. 11 in the morning. Some people are drinking, or 12. I'm sorry, it's already noon. It's almost 1 o'clock. This event's almost over. 2 more fights. Oh, now I only have 2 people in the stream. Went from 16 to 2. Well, that's the algorithm from gotta go. Thank you. No problem. People gotta go. Hopefully they subbed as they came in, and maybe I'll get a couple more subs here and there. Maybe this way. Look at my tongue. It's coffee colored. It's disgusting. That orange color. But nobody really saw it. You know, here comes Sherpa off. It's going to be a fight. This is going to be a good fight, people. Only 1 person left. It's going to be up in air. It's going to be up in air. Yeah, my tongue looks horrible with this thing. But the actual picture with this lighting looks pretty decent. Right? I don't mind the background at all. I could move the front light to the front, but I think this works for me. This works a little different. I could put another little light here if I wanted to as well. So I could have a second one down below to change the lighting. I think I'll do that in the future. This one looks good. And as I was mentioning, I think that if you utilize this type of software, the algorithm on the phone, you might have a bit better chance of getting more people live than on your PC, unless you have a ton of subscribers already, right? If you have a ton of subscribers, then I've been on OBS. It doesn't matter because then your subscribers come and everybody knows, and then the algorithm pushes you. But if you don't have a lot of subscribers, oh, wow, George St. Pierre is there. I can see GSP. He looks good, man. GSP looks like he hasn't aged a day. He looks younger now. I bet he's getting like Botox or some kind of cream or something special for his skin, because he still looks like early 30s, and he's got weird hair. I think he did the steroids. If you look at his kind of like pattern balding, and you see all the bald men in UFC in general, look at the fans, not just Dana, but if you look at the most people, older people involved in MMA, they're all bald. And it's the same for fucking boxing. I know that you cut your hair and stuff like that, and it's common, but if you look at most people, they're all on steroids. They're all taking steroids. Everyone's taking steroids. I want to take steroids. I need to learn a little bit more about which steroids I'm going to take, and going to probably end up taking it for the rest of my life. And I wonder if they're really useful for me. I think they can be, you know, increased sex drive, increased energy levels. Once you're working out, you're going to have increased strength. Maybe it helps the tendons that are sore. Like I have bad knees, like really bad knees. And I got like not necessarily bad shoulders, but I have like not a quite skater's sort of shoulder. When I used to skateboard, you'd hit, if you fall, you try to dig your shoulder in. You try to don't use your hands as much as you sort of shoulder it. And so on both my shoulders, I have like these balls of, and also from working these like little sacks of almost pus. And same on my elbows. Like I have the elbow skater's pus, like from falling down so much that, it just stays in there. It's like this little small, they're small now, but if you start skating again, you fall on it, they get pretty big and it's pretty nasty. But yeah, I wonder if it would help that as well. So hello, mister. What's up, Just Cat? Just Cat. It's just a cat. Don't fear it when it's walking around. Shit, I'm scared of cats. There was a cat here. Nobody believed me. And in my last place too. Hey, look, he's doing the Carlton. Sarha Margomedov was doing the Carlton unintendedly. He was just doing his dance and he was doing the Carlton. Too funny. Yeah, nobody would believe me, even at my old place, that a cat was sneaking in the house. And a cat was just, and here's the same thing. Cat used to, like summertime, you leave the basement, the door open and shit. Cat used, or even the front door, and a cat used to be able to sneak in. And next thing you know, like in the middle of the night, you hear, oh, and you're like, what the fuck? You don't know what it is. And it's just a cat. It's just a cat that snuck into your house. All right, here we go. Look at Venom Page, that quick side stance. Very hard to get somebody to imitate that. I mean, and he's even more horizontal than or vertical, I should say, than Wonder Boy. Like he really is on that, that Y axis. Like, he's on there. And he fights his hands, but he's good distance. His hands are way down, almost to his knees. But Sharapov is still able to get a couple kicks off. And Magomedov is not intimidated by this style at all. He's not frazzled completely. He's getting some good kicks in as Page is trying to close the distance. And that's what's hard for this karate style, is the distance management. Like if somebody doesn't want to engage you, like Magomedov, he doesn't have to, right? And so that negates a lot of like your movement. Right. And then he's still saving. You're using a lot more energy because you're on your toes constantly. You're constantly on your toes and you're moving up and down constantly, a little bit more maybe than a boxer. And you're using a little more energy. Yeah. Now he's coming forward. Page is coming forward and Magomedov cannot do that. He's got to meet Page in the center and close that distance. He cannot afford to move backwards on Michael Venom Page, or Michael Venom Page will light him up. So there's only one more person left in the chat, but that's okay. Now there's zero. There's nobody here. That's all right. All right. Went from 16 to 0. Oh, Page pushes him down. If you're in the chat, folks, just subscribe if you can, and say hello. Just say hello. I'll give you a little shout out. There's no charge for a shout out. One person that's in here, just say hello. Hola. Tus. Oh man, he misses with that punch, and then oh my God, falls right into a guillotine. But he's out. He should just separate. Page should just separate. I can't speak English, but I think I can learn English if I listen to him. What my recommendation is to get yourself an English dictionary. And I know it's going to be hard to read in English. So you could get a dictionary that's from your language to English. Get that. And then just watch English TV. Watch TV in English in your spare time. Like I need to do that more often. And I did that with Spanish. I watched Spanish novellas and Spanish TV. You start watching the news and in Spanish, and you start watching some Spanish TV. And then I also read the Spanish dictionary. Like I had a pocket dictionary. It was smaller than your standard dictionary, right? It's just most common words that are used in Spanish. So I read that Spanish dictionary. So I would do the same thing. I would get common English dictionary and just read that dictionary if possible, like English, your language to English. And then I would watch English TV shows and you'll get it. Or come to America, hang out for a month, and go out, talk to people. Just don't be by yourself. Go and How do you like my pronunciation? My pronunciation is okay. I mean, it's fairly good. I have a lot of experience in public speaking. I'm older. I'm raised in the United States, in Chicago, and yeah, I mean, my vocabulary could be better. My pronunciation's fine. It's in English. It's fine. There are very few English words that I have a problem enunciating or pronouncing. So I'm okay with that. I mean, it's hard. My pronunciation in Spanish is not great. Or yeah, it's not great, but it's okay. It's serviceable. I go to Mexico a few times a year, Costa Rica a few times a year. You know, I could speak to people even here in Chicago. I could speak to plenty of people that are just cannot speak English, that only speak Spanish, and I do fine with them. I think that when you have prejudice, even in English, when I hear somebody that doesn't speak English very well, and if you feel like you're better than them or have like some kind of ego about that, I think it's really silly. It's not very useful at all. So if someone doesn't pronunciate English, I don't hold that against them. And oh, what a kick! What a kick! Michael Venom Page is a demon. The dude does not fuck around. That's a good question, and I might agree to that. I would say that it has a lot more to do what your educational level is, as opposed to that, and also more. I think not necessarily between generations, but just like in different parts of England, they might enunciate things, or even in Mexico, they have like enunciation. In English, there's certainly in the United States, there's definitely differences. And there's some people down south you wouldn't be able to understand them, and then folks that might live in the Northeast, you know, out in Maine, the Maine coast, and Rhode Island, even certain parts of northern New York, they speak or enunciate things a little differently. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I doubt it's less generational, and I would say the generational thing just depends more on what your educational level is. Right, my mother spoke English fine, but it was her second language, and she was first generation. So I'm like the next generation, and so my English level, of course, is a lot higher than what my father's. And my father enunciated things very interestingly, I would say. Like he mixed it up quite a bit, but he did understand and speak English, and he spoke because he spent most of his life here in Chicago as a worker. He spoke and understood some Polish, as well as some Chinese. Right, so he had some Polish, some Chinese, and he probably had some little Arabic words here and there too. But he understood some Polish and could speak some Polish. Understood it like more than anything. Same with the Chinese. And I think that's because he was dealing with them in business, right? Like if you're dealing with a lot of Polish, working with a lot of Polish people, and dealing with them on business, you'll pick up certain things. It's the same in Spanish. Like if you go someplace and you hear, you know, when you start talking money, everybody's language seems to all sort of, you start to pay attention a little bit more of how things are going when when it's business, when there's money on the line. You'd be surprised what you'd understand or learn to understand when someone says something. Yeah, Page is still in this fight. Magomedov is actually might be losing because Page is just he's not doing anything. He's just frozen. He's got to wait for Page to close distance, or else he can't do anything. Yeah, it's even money fight right now. I'm calling it even money. Ah, that coffee. Back to one person now. You got 2 likes. That's a good thing. Magomedov begging him to like hit him, but he is hitting him. And Magomedov is not doing anything in return. But Page is slowing down in terms of his movement, like that. Like I mentioned earlier, that bouncing up and down, he was moving back and forth a little bit more. Now he's just bouncing up and down. So that karate style is a very tough style, energy-wise, cardio-wise. But Page is, you know, he's got more accuracy. He's 19 of 33. Oh, he clinches up. He doesn't want to do this. He could get reversal, but Page is not a farce, man, in any regards. Ooh, he got his own. Whoa. Yeah, Michael Venom Page is not. he's you know, these MMA guys at the top of at this UFC level, they're all just can't say is I have a lot of thoughts. Yeah, hopefully they're good. Hopefully you don't lose sleep over your thoughts. You know, I lose sleep over some thoughts, but no, lately it's just been difficult for me to fall asleep. And I haven't been doing enough research, and I think I've gotten enough research. It just, training is important. Training in everything, whether it's in technology, whether it's in sales, getting some on, you know, you could pick up a lot of things from YouTube, but then you're going to have to like apply them. And then it's good to have somebody over with some oversight and leadership that knows what it is that you're doing or that you want to do, that assist you and that helps you train you, right? That you become that way. Your English will improve depending on the person. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've lived with a bunch of people, plenty of foreigners before. I lived with plenty of Europeans as well as Central Spanish speaking folks that when they lived with us over time, yeah, they're especially if you live with multiple, like college and being young, of course, is better to learn a language. And if you live with a lot of different people or work with a lot of different people, like if your work context has a lot of different people and you speak to them, yeah, your English will get better for sure. You just can't be afraid. I mean, we all live in our bubbles now. It's a lot harder in terms of generationally, talking generationally with the digital age. We're more accustomed to speaking digitally than we are in public and or even in the private sector, or should I say a work environment. So, ooh, wow, this is a close-ass fight and a good one. But yeah, Page is slowing down. He's got his mouth open. It's going to be cardio. And Magomedov hasn't used very much, but he's used a lot of little cardio too. His mouth is open, but he's not breathing as hard as Page. But Page is starting to like feel himself. He's starting to like know where he's at in the octagon a lot better. He's getting better, sneakier strikes in here and there. He certainly has Magomedov on his defensive side here. Yeah, I mean, there are certain elements of public speaking and or even here on the so I don't like using my hands that much. People that talk with their hands and doing this shit, it's like, what the fuck? You don't need that shit. Especially ladies with like those long nails, you know, Latinas and or white and or black ladies with the long, they want that nail attention, right? They want that attention. And men too, when they speak and they're like, I have the attention. It's like, you know, your hands don't do anything to me. You're not Dumbledore. You're not in, you know, we don't live in fucking Harry Potter land or whatever Harry Potter's magical area is. When you go abroad, you need to talk with an older person to improve your skills. Yeah. Yeah. Older persons are great because they speak a little more proper and they speak a little slower. And there's probably less slang, right? Like a younger person, especially like places in Mexico and in Central America, they speak in metaphors and synonyms and in, you know, what is the other thing called? Like nothing is direct. Right, it's all in a certain slang that if you don't understand these phrases, you're not going to understand what they're saying because nothing is said direct and proper. Especially in Mexico, like Mexico, you could understand what somebody's saying or at least comprehend. I know that's different. You could hear and understand what is enunciated, but you won't comprehend what is being said. Does that make sense to anybody? Like in Mexico, that's very common where you're going to understand the words and you're going to be able to know the sentence, but you won't know what the sentence means because it's slang. It's I forgot what they're called. That element, like a sentence that doesn't mean what is said. You have to, you know, there's something behind it. Ooh, a nice leg kick. Ooh, what a punch. Oh, Page is taunting him. Oh, Page is starting to sniper him. I think he's found Magomedov's rhythm, yeah. And he's a lot more confident. Oh, and he keeps hitting him. He keeps tagging him. Michael Venom Page is a force. If he was given this Magomedov to sort of, you know, almost get him out of there, like for a loss. There's so much hype behind the wolf, behind Magomedov, and because he's got a number. He's 14. Page doesn't have a number. So they're going to have to give Michael Venom Page a number after this if he wins. Let's see if he could win though in Saudi Arabia. It's in Saudi Arabia, and who knows how these judges are? It's Saudi judges. He's a Muslim guy. You know, most of the Muslims have been winning today, but then there have been a lot more Muslim competitors. Ooh, he keeps tagging them. He keeps timing his entry page. Page keeps timing Magomedov and tags him every time. One of those is going to actually knock him out. Oh, he tagged him again. Yeah, he's got his timing down. He's got Magomedov's timing and his distance management. Now he's goofing him. Page is goofing him again. He knows that Magomedov can't reach him, can't really touch him. So Page is starting to really just get to start to tee off is what he's doing. And he knows it's round 3, so he could empty the gas tank. And so he's doing that. Oh, man, he's definitely doing that. And Magomedov is frustrated, where Page is just calm and cool. Magomedov is looking to make things happen and just hesitating and just not striking, not very active. It's actually a very good fight. People like, you know, Page's style. To see a guy in the UFC with Michael Venom Page's style beat a guy like Magomedov, you know, who's a high level mixed martial artist, is just amazing. I mean, I appreciate it, but people probably don't appreciate a fight like this. Like if this was in America, they'd be booing this. They'd already be booing, and it's like, no, this is high level. Oh, he got a knee in there. This is high level martial arts, mixed martial arts, not just striking. This is very, very high level here. And Michael Venom Page showing that karate style with some defensive grappling, or even offensive for defensive purposes. It can you know, you can beat a high level mixed martial artist, right? So I mean, going for a half hour. Someone asked, is it dangerous to talk to homeless people? No. You have to just be careful. Some homeless people will be looking to you know, get money from you. You have to be careful which homeless people, and that's the other thing. I avoid a lot of homeless people because depending on what their function is, and you never know what their actual rear function is. Most homeless people are mentally ill. I worked in the homeless industry, and if they're not addicted to drugs or mentally ill, those two are account for most 90% of people that are homeless, right? Like substance abusers and mentally ill people, probably 90% of homeless people, maybe if not less, but not much less. And a lot of people can maintain themselves even when they're mentally ill, but you never know if you're talking to that person that, you know, has dementia or schizophrenia and is just going to crack and end up, you know, doing something violent, you know, or doing something causing you harm or putting you in danger. So I tend to be nice to homeless people, but I tend not to talk to them very much, right? I'll give them certain things. I'll give a homeless person, if I got a food, I'll just give them a bag of food if they want. Or one guy had some extra hat that I'd found, and he was asking for winter gear, so I gave him a hat. You know, people just lay stuff down by their campsite, you know, like clothes, or even you know, they put up some money even, or soda, or a Gatorade. They just put it down by the area or right by them, and just really don't deal with homeless people too much, because you never know who you're dealing with, right? Or you never know how they might respond. So it's just better to stay on the safe side. Oh, Paige at the very end fell to the floor. Right? So it's not necessarily dangerous, but why put yourself in that situation? Because you're not really going to be able to. You could say, but you know, you could say a prayer for them or join, but it's going to be tough unless you really want to just give them money. But talking to a homeless person isn't going to change like their life or their situation at all. Let me go and get some coffee. Yeah. Well, back to the homeless people. Like, That's the other thing is you never know who the homeless people might be with. So they could be a present of danger to you. So if they're hustlers or a group of guys that are, substance abusers and thieves, or their objective is to pickpocket you or to steal something that's quick that you might have, like your phone, they'll do it. So yeah, again, it's like, why are you wanting to engage with homeless people? Regardless of what country you're in or what you're doing, it's not worth it. Right? Go. You're going to be going to museums. You're going to be going to historical places of architecture. You're going to be going to the marketplace, right? You're going to be walking around. You're going to be busy when you're traveling. You're not going to be, and if you're sitting down, you're going to be sitting down in where there might be homeless people, but chances are you could avoid them, and you could just, take people away. I'm not buying that or whatever. I'm not talking to you, and you're just sitting down, and just keep your awareness about you. That's all. Make sure you see people coming up on you. Be aware of where your backpack is and where your wallet is, and or your camera, and or your selfie stick, or your microphone, or your drone. Like be aware of like where your shit is. Oh, what? He's got a ring? Kind of ring? Is he marrying somebody? Michael Venom-Page's got some kind of ring. He's a weirdo. Again, he did the famously did the glove from the Avengers. Yeah, Giga says watching MVP is so much fun. Yeah, MVP, solid fighter, man. Like MVP is really an enigma for these guys because his style, hands down, standing up straight, it's very, very tough for a lot of these guys to deal with. You're going to bed now. Oh, wow, okay. You must be a different part of the world. Yeah, it's only like 1 o'clock. It's the middle of the day here in Chicago. And bad weather. It is Saturday, but my old ass I don't go out anymore. Yeah, Michael Venom-Page just destroyed this guy. Boom. Wow, what a clinic, both in the striking and even in the counter grappling. Just the ring control, ring generalship. Oh, Korea. Okay, just got. Yeah, I would like to go to Korea. There's a lot of good street food I'm interested to eat there. Like the Korean hot dog, the Korean burger. There's some sandwiches that are made in Korea that I would like to try. A lot of like Japanese influence, like sushi in Korea too, that I would love to try. Yeah, there's the Korean food is becoming more popular here in Chicago. It's always been here because there's a large Korean community, but Korean food nationwide, because that paste that you use to cook is becoming more popular. It's 4 a.m. in Korea. Yeah, I'd love to go to Korea someday. Someday. Yeah, see, when I'm in Korea, I'm going to be going to, to the temples and to gardens and the parks, and to where the street food is, and to the market. Same thing. I'll be busy. I won't be trying to deal with too many homeless people. Right? Oh, you're saying street food's now expensive? Wow, that sucks. I bet it's the same in Japan. The street food's coming expensive. It's the same worldwide. Food's just expensive. I've always told that to my parents. Like food is no matter where you go, even street food is not cheap. So that's why you got to go where it's good quality, good portions. Like good portions where you could take some home, and good quality, good portions, and well prepared. Right? Like, yeah, that's key. That's horrible that the street food is more expensive. I don't really care about the expense. It's the experience, and it's a little different. But yeah, it's supposed to be cheaper. But you go to places like here in Chicago, New York, like the truck food, they have these food trucks. Those food trucks are not cheap. You could almost go to a restaurant for the price of those food trucks. But you don't have to give the same amount of tip. It's going to be a little harder for you to eat. But yeah, those food trucks are still really good, though. Some of those food trucks that we have here, not cheap to operate either. Not and it still work. Cooking is still a labor of love, and you got to love to cook and service people and do well at it. Well, there's Saudi Arabia looks. It doesn't look like a big venue there in Saudi Arabia. It's not a big venue at all. I think because it's invitation only in Saudi Arabia. The event there, it's like VIP. Like they got nothing. It's like a high school gym, which is sick. Yeah, the venue itself, like to go see a fight there is just incredible. But I think it's just VIP. I think it's invite only, and because there's not a lot of seats, and every seat is taken, but they only have like one section, two sections, the floor section, and then another upper section, not even upper deck. Crazy. So I only got one more person in here. That's okay. Two people again. Two. Hey, make sure you subscribe, people, as you come on in. We're watching UFC. We're watching the last bout. Israel Adesanya versus Imavov. Nasruddin Imavov, who's actually a Russian that lives in France. Imavov. This is going to be no joke. It's going to be a good-ass fight. It's going to be a good fight. The style bender. Nope, now there's no one. Chillaxing. Someone's in there and then someone leaves. Subscribe while you come on in. Sub. As you come on in, say something in the chat so that I could respond to you. It's UFC, baby. We're watching the UFC. We're just getting a little live, not necessarily live reaction. We're talking about it a little bit. Just a moment ago, we were talking about traveling. My constant discussion of EDC. And I'm right, like in Chicago, in an urban context, like these guys that carry knives. Like even myself, like, I'm not going out of my way to totally help people that are strangers, whatever I can, a little bit. It just doesn't happen as often. I'm doing good. Mom and daughter baking show. I'm doing well. But EDC, like, how often do I use a knife? Like the most common knife that I use is a utility knife to open stuff. And you can still use a utility knife to cut hoses, to cut fabric if you know what you're doing. It's all I really need. And I used to carry one of those, but I don't carry those all the time now. Right? All I do is carry a flashlight. I carry spare magazines, one spare magazine, pistol magazine. I'm thinking of carrying another. I'm thinking of getting a second pouch, just for the hell of it. Not for the hell of it, because nowadays, there's interesting times. And if you have a single stack, 7-round pistol like I have, or 7+1, maybe 16 shots isn't enough to get you home, right? So having that 3rd round mag might be helpful, because people say, "Oh, you have a pistol, you're not going to be able to lay down cover fire." Well, it's distracting. You're going to be able to, once you start capping off some things, people start to move away, right, from where that capping's going and where those bullets are coming from. So I'm not saying like you're not laying like real suppression or cover. It's cover fire. It's not so suppression, but it is like if something from a pistol is coming out there and whizzing by people, they tend to take cover, right? So having more rounds so that you don't have to be as deliberate where you could spot off a couple rounds where then you can move and get yourself into a safer context or safer situation is going to be key. So but again, they have a knife, they have a tourniquet, they have all these items on an everyday basis, right? Not just a pen, but the knife, the pen, a utility, what do they call those things? A multi-tool, right? Multi-tool. If I need all that stuff, I have it in a tool bag. And if in my backpack, when I went to work, I couldn't get a multi-tool into security. And in other jobs I had my toolbox or my tool bag, right, which had everything in it. More than I would need in terms of EDC. It has everything an EDC person would need and more, right? So I could go to that bag at any point. just go to my truck, or even my backpack, I would carry all the tools I would need for that job that day, like a screwdriver with multiple heads, Allen wrenches, a wrench, right? I'd have all that stuff in my backpack, right? Like, but it becomes more of a tool bag at that point, and it's just for a purpose that I'm going actually to a job where I need, you know, I'm going to need all those tools. I'm going to need my drill. I'm going to need my bits, tool bits, you know, drill bits as well as Allen bits. It's not going to be this like EDC thing where I'm carrying, 2 pounds or 2 pounds of gear, right? Or even a pound of gear. It's like unnecessary, completely unnecessary. And people are like, okay, I just think that for an urban context, and depending on what you do for a living, even if you do need some of those for a living, if you need a knife for your job, you're going to have other blades at the job. You're going to have something else that you don't need a knife for. A knife per se, you don't need a knife. You're going to need a box cutter. Nothing. That's what you're going to need. Most cuts in it is a scissors or a box cutter, right? You're not going to need a knife, right? So, I personally think, and I could be completely wrong, but for urban EDC, a knife, I'd rather just have the multi-tool that has a knife and not the knife, right? Carry the multi-tool and not the knife. If you're going to carry anything at all in that weight class or in that size. And even the multi-tools are heavy, right? So, and bulky. So for me, it's a no-go, right? And then they carry the full first aid kit. Like, it's great to have that, to be a concerned citizen and a capable citizen. If you see somebody that is injured, you have that first aid stuff and you could go and help them, man, more power to you. I think that might be more, and that's one other reason why I'm considering carrying a first aid kit, a little first aid pouch, and having that, because these are trying times for that purpose. Such that even though I'm just like going to the store and something happens to somebody, that I could be able to provide some, like, stop their bleeding. Maybe that's why people carry the tourniquets as well. I would say that for being humanitarian, or to yourself, if that did happen to yourself, is of value. But again, do I really want to get involved in that? But yeah, because in my purse, I have a Merce. In that Merce, all I carry is a pen. I'll carry some eye drops. I'll carry some hand sanitizer. I'll carry some hand wipes, right? I'll carry a couple masks, a lighter, a flashlight, and that's it, right? I won't carry much more, even in my Merce. I might put my wallet in there. I could put a gun in there. I could put a weapon in my mail purse. Carry it around the chest here, strap it up a little bit higher, a little tighter, but it's still a purse, right? And then, and I could have the weapon in there if I wanted to come and draw it. And then I could also keep a couple spare mags in there if I wanted to. But I don't like having that separates from me. So I like having it on my belt if possible. Here comes Adesanya. No fanfare, no show. He's not dancing. But yeah, I think that like this EDC movement, I think it's just misleading, and I don't think it's actually very practical in an urban context. Maybe if you're in the boonies, for sure. If you have to go to a store and you're driving 5 miles to that store and you live someplace, EDC, having like a pack with you that has everything that you could possibly use. If your truck went out or whatever, if you drove into a ditch or you ran out of gas and you need the backup water if it's hot out there, right? You need some things. You probably have it in your truck, or your car. Yeah, but again, if in an urban context, most of the EDC things that people would have, you're just flagging yourself. I can't tell you how many people I walk around and I'm like, that guy's got a gun. You see him with a knife, and he's like, oh, he's got a gun. He's got multiple shit, and you can just tell. They also, just from what they're wearing, give away themselves. They're flagging themselves. You're wearing, all tactical gear. You're wearing 511 pants. You're wearing, 511 jacket with 511 boots. He's got a gun. he's got shit. It's just flagging yourself. I myself prefer, I won't wear this stuff necessarily out. I can, but I still, not flagging myself to an extent. But I'll wear, today I do have like cargo pants on that scream I could possibly have a gun. But for the most part, I'll wear dress pants or golf pants, right? I haven't worn jeans. I don't mind wearing like Dickies. I'll wear like those utility pants, which I think could flag you a little bit too. And if you do get those utility pants, don't get the ones with the cargo pockets. They might be useful though when you're actually in a near combat situation. You get some Dickies or some Carhartts. Those are fine, I think, to run in, right? To be moving in, and even the ones with the cargo pockets, because they're really tough and they're comfortable. And they might be tougher than sort of like the Under Armour and some of the other like golf pants that I use. I love using golf pants. Golf pants are my favorite over everything, because I can use them both as a dress pant and casually and in near formal context. So I like those pants myself, just because they breathe so well and they're comfortable. They're not too dressy, but they look fairly dressy. So, and I like Under Armour. The Under Armour and Nike makes some good ones. Even Adidas, they make some really, really nice golf pants that can, again, you can, the key with those, if you want to use them as a dress, is to make sure like their label is not an opposite color, that it just blends into the pant, and you could get away wearing a nice polo or even a nice decent dress shirt with it, with some casual shoes, right? Not gym shoes, some casual shoes, and you'll look fine. And then somebody was mentioning a leather jacket. Yeah, I wear a leather jacket. I do have a Dickies jacket right here, but there's my leather jacket right there. See, there's my leather jacket. There's my leather jacket. Wear that leather jacket right there. You wear that leather jacket, and that's easy to conceal a lot of shit. If anything, it's just hard to dig your shit out of, through it, right? So no, there's nobody there. We got the main event coming up. Yeah, so lighter, flashlight, spare mags. Thinking of the first aid kit, I'd rather have the first aid kit than the multi-tool. I could accomplish more, or themes of what might be my priority. I'd be more inkling to help somebody. I'll help somebody fix their car to an extent, or fix something for them quickly. But I'm more likely to, if I see something that happens or something did happen and I had a first aid kit, and if I'm able to like stop someone's bleeding, apply a tourniquet, or just help in some way, I would do that. So the first aid kit might be something, but for now it's bare minimal. I think minimalist, low profile is the way to go. Like I mentioned other people, like even my pack right now for work, because it's for work, even though I don't care how it looks. My work bag, it had my Molly bag, and it had all my pockets in there, and it worked functionally for me, because in the main compartments I put like spare clothes and my lunch, right? I'd use it as my lunch pail, but even though I didn't have to, put spare clothes and my lunch and my computer into the bigger pouches, right? Spare, and then in the smaller pouches I had like a sunglasses and glasses pouch. Then in one of the a dump pouch, a smaller dump pouch, I would use that for all my hearing, we used to use earplugs, hearing, and then I also had it with sanitation wipes on one end, and then another pouch I had like the small EDC pouch was all for my cables. It wasn't, it was all for my I had multiple cables for Apple. I had one of those plug-ins so that you could plug in multiple things in there, and then I would also put a battery in there, so it was all my electronics. And then in the side pockets I would put other things like in there, could be lip balm, Visine, etc. So I had that, and then I had a side water pouch for my water bottle. And so I used all the pockets. And then in the utility pocket there were like pens, a lighter in there, I put a flashlight in there, additional flashlight in there, additional mask. So I had that in that particular pouch. And then in my spare one I had some like cards, like playing cards. Yeah, so I always had I didn't mind using it because I had a purpose for all those Molly pockets, and I used the Molly on it because I had put other bags on there for certain purposes, and it worked. Even though it looked like a lot, it weighed with the computer. It weighed like 18 ounces, right? Or 18, or is it 24? It typically didn't weigh more than a pound, even with my food. My bag always weighed like basically a pound, sometimes less, like 13 ounces. Like with what I had, if I didn't have food in there and I didn't have my computer, come on, it didn't weigh very much because all I would have in there are those electronics things were constant, pens, lighter, and glasses and sunglasses, hearing protection, which they're very light. So if I didn't have my computer, that thing was only, even though it looked like a lot, it only had like 13 ounces, so like less than a pound, which is nothing. I have to weigh it again. I don't remember if it was over a pound. With the computer for sure, but even the computer is light. Man, Imavov, there he is doing what I said he needs to do. He's got to tangle up and get these judo throws in there. So, but yeah, I'm going to be getting, I should get it now. Now's the time to buy everything before people start panic buying. I think we're going to start to see some panic buying, both in the weapons, medical things like Band-Aids and alcohol again, iodine. We're going to start to see some panic buying in that. We'll see, even with things with, like bullets, some gun things. Key is to try to get those things now before and prices are going to go up. Trump, our government, new government coming in is just raising prices of everything. They're causing a lot of inflation, and prices are going up. Ooh, Imavov's doing things right here. Yeah, so I'd get some of your first aid stuff now. Get a good first aid kit for your home going. Get that thing going. And a travel first aid kit, like 2 of them, or even 3, one for your automobile. So you got one to bug out with, you got one for your home, and you got one for your automobile. Is a good idea. So like buy stuff right now, make up 3 kits, even if it's in a Ziploc bag, that's okay. It doesn't have to be in a pouch, right? You could just put it in a Ziploc bag. It's just good. Just know where it's at. Tell your family where it's at. Let them know where. Oh, he tagged Adesanya. Oh, Adesanya's in the corner. He doesn't want to stay there, man. I'm telling you, Imavov is game. Yeah. So again, like EDC for me is just being light. Like I'm not going to be out there fixing shit and doing shit for strangers out on the street, especially if we're in problem times, like, do you think a Mexican wants to be working on his car out in the street these days? Like, you know what I mean? You're not going to be seeing that happening for a while. You're not going to be hearing Mexican music and a dude fixing his car out in the middle of the avenues here in Chicago any longer, right? And so I'm not going to be helping them. But stuff like that, the small things are going to be causing a lot of attention, and you're putting yourself at sort of jeopardy of various things occurring to. Oh, Ronaldo's there. Ronaldo's right in the front. He gets front seat. Yeah, Ronaldo's there. That's Ronaldo. That's crazy. He's always there, but I guess he's playing soccer there, and he promotes Saudi Arabia. So that was probably part of the deal. Is like, oh, we're going to hire you as a soccer player, and we're going to give you the outrageous money we're going to give you, but you have to come to our events. Yeah, he's next to, I think, a Saudi prince and Dana. He's sitting basically one person away from Dana, which I think is a Saudi prince in between them. So, yeah. Ronaldo is just such a loved athlete. Talk about fucking superstars. I know Ronaldo. I've seen him play once in the World Cup. You know what I mean? I like him, but it's Ronaldo. Don't know, never, only seen him play once, and I know who he is. That's when you know you're a superstar. When people that don't even pay attention to your sport know who you are, then you've made it, right? Like, then you're super, super famous. So EDC. Oh, here's this EDC thing that a lot of people don't consider. That's very, very important here in Chicago is your Ventra pass, your CTA pass. Just being able to get on a bus and or train is key, and having something where you don't have to put money in the machine, where you can just walk on. You're not going to attract attention. You're actually not going to sneak on, so you don't attract attention. You're going to actually pay for the train. A Ventra card is one of the most important EDC items for somebody that's a prepper or non-prepper, just a citizen. It's a good thing to have. Put $20 on. Have $20 on your Ventra card, so that you can hop in on a bus or a train, or make sure it's both pace and Adesanya's down. Oh, he goes down. Imovov's good. That's it. Imavov. I called it. Damn it. Adesanya is fucked. Adesanya just stepped down. Oh my God. Is that the end of Adesanya? He knew he got clocked. He's trying to say he just got tagged. It was a lucky, but no, it wasn't. All right, we're going 56 minutes here. How much battery life I have? I could always put more battery in there. Who called me? Yeah, I knew it was Josh. I knew it. I told you. I called it. Imavov. Man, he tagged him. And he didn't have to do what I said. Boom! Adesanya just not playing smart defensively. Tried to parry and push away his hands, and just Imavov came over the top, and then came over with the left hook, those left hooks. Boom, with the big right. Came with the left hook, hit him with that, and then he's going to hook him again. Boom. Overhand left. And he keeps jabbing and giving the hooks with the left. And then boom, another right. Yeah, Mark Goddard's got to stop it. Yeah, Imavov looked good. Great shape. Close the distance. Izzy made big mistake. Big mistakes by Izzy. Yeah, so all those other things, EDC, I would spend your money on good home first aid stuff. I'd buy a good backpack, like an everyday, just in case you're going to be going out, but something that is a pistol and has pockets that you could, I think Maxpedition makes the best packs for that purpose, for the money. Right now they have a clearance sale. I'd highly recommend that stuff. And, that's discreet, right? Discreet, just doesn't scream, hey, I'm a danger to you, or I have a gun, right? Backpack and or bag. Shit, if you're using your MERS, you could use your MERS. Everything that those people use in their EDC, I could put in my MERS if I wanted to. And I could dump that MERS if I needed to as well. I could dump it, right? So... yeah, I've been doing, again, just researching it in my mind as well as online. Urban EDC is completely different than any other form. And it's questionable whether it's completely necessary, because a lot of people have toolboxes in their homes. Like, how often and how long and where are you going when you're on the street traveling? Well, most people that do those EDC things don't really travel. They don't take the bus to work. They don't take the bus to go to the park. They don't do public transportation. They're probably driving. They don't go on like long walks in the city. Like they don't do things that would even enable them to use the tools that they have. So they're driving around with a bunch of tools, which they could just have a tool bag in their truck, which is sometimes not good to have, because people will rob, break in your thing, and they'll steal your tools. Especially if you're like myself and you buy good tools and fucking somebody. Actually, oh no, that's what happened. One time I was doing, I think it was the handyman at the fucking goddamn building. I left my tool bag, and it was sort of outside. It's in the garage, right? But on the stair, and they had to lock the door. It was just fucked up. And I left my tool bag there that had a drill and a bunch of little things. It was a small little basket tool bag basket, open tool bag basket, which is great to use if you're on moving jobs or other various little tool jobs. And stole it. I had my 12-volt pocket Bosch drill, which I still miss to this day. Because even at 12 volt, that's all I needed for like furniture, and it was a small little one. It was like a little pistol. It's teeny and light. You know, it didn't have the battery. Was just 12 volts, so it's all I needed for this, for my job. But hey, yeah, the fights are over, and I got a poopy. So if you made it this far, we are about better. Hopefully, I'm going to continue on with this EDC discussion because, like I say, a lot of people, especially in urban context, they address it and they have all this shit, and it's going to be great when I come across them because I'm going to be able to fucking, if they're already shot, people are going to label them with a lot of goodies. They're going to be like, it's going to be like a video game. They're going to be all these people that have a lot of shit that's going to be left all over the place, especially in a city where traveling light and being able to move is the priority. Move, evade, abscond, or and just stay hidden. Out of fire, out of direct fire, out of direct sight, moving, and scavenging, right? And scavenging for the right things, and just remaining light, keeping moving, and staying safe, right? I think that that's going to be key. You know, it's going to be key. And so, you know, what other people like, and in fact, what EDC item that I'd like to carry, or an item that I would like to EDC, but it's still too bulky and impractical, is a gas mask. That's the main one that other than a pistol and a flashlight, the gas mask is like number 2 to me, because there's going to be gas. It's going to be tear gas. There's going to be bear spray. There's going to be a lot of gases out there, and even or flames, you know, from fires. And having something that could help a little bit with, you know, mitigating that gas and those fumes is key, both for your eyes protection, your skin protection, and your lung protection. So, for me, that would be number 2, but it's impractical, right? So we'll see how things go, but it's good to have one in the house for sure, and for sure for your potential bug out bag or on your primary, like putting that on your battle belt, like your mask, you know, in your utility side, your right hand side, if that's what you choose for your utility side, to have a bag for your gas mask is going to be key. Gas mask, goggles, and, you know, full face mask would be great, but those are big, you know, they're bulky. So you have this big bulky thing. That's why the facial ones are for weight, not necessarily even for weight, but just for movement and storage. They're not as good, right? Because they're not protecting your eyes completely and as much skin, but it's still something. And, you know, it just packs up and it just stays more compact. It's just a lot easier and easier to use if you need it to not necessarily deploy, but it's just easier to pack. And so, but I think that's one of the most important prepper EDC, not necessarily EDC, but one of the most important items for an urban or non-urban context, especially for an urban context, are those gas masks. And again, I would get the filters for that. I think people might start to panic buy on. That's another item, the gas mask, that people will start to panic buy on. You know, like the toilet paper. You don't realize that they could just use a rag and wash the rag if there's water, if they still have running water. You go old school and you fucking just get a rag and you fucking clean your rag. Right? You take a shit, you clean your butt, and then you have to clean it in the sink if you have running water. If you run out of toilet paper. That's what I would do. Or just use other paper that's around. Fuck, in Mexico, they used to give you newspaper as toilet paper. Or if you got some other papers, and use that. Some old bills, fuck it. Might not spread that well, might not be great, but just put it in a garbage can, throw it away. Keep those plastic bags you get from the store, and those are your shit bags and garbage bags. I don't know. But yeah, so if you made it this far, you are about better. We are going to always continue with these discussions. We're going to talk about a little MMA next week. It looks like it fucking blows again. So if you made it this far, you are about better. I might go live again just to talk to you people, but welcome, about betters.